Hey there, everyone. Michelle Hasty Thompson here, coming to you live. Today, we're going to talk about that dirty little secret behind dieting that nobody talks about. And there's a reason why nobody talks about it, because if they did talk about it, it would literally sink the dieting industry. So, might be some shade coming my way with this one. Here's the thing about dieting. The reason why we like it, and I know that sounds weird, like, no, I don't like it. No, you do like it, because what it does do is give you some type of control. And when things feel completely out of control, I mean, when that time when you're like, God, I just can't stop eating donuts, or after dinner, I just eat and eat and eat, and somebody needs to reel me in. Somebody needs to put me on a plan. Somebody needs to control me because I cannot control myself. I am uncontrollable. Food, I can't be controlled around food. I can't be controlled around exercise. I just can't seem to do it, whatever it is. So we feel out of control. And so what we do is we reach for really tight control. Like, just reel me in and I'll be fine. Put me on a plan and I'll be fine. And for a while, that's true. So dieting is the thing that you reach for to be put back in control. And it works because you're following a thing, or someone's telling you, yeah, good job, just do this, this, and this, and you're going to look like all these before and after pictures, and all you have to do is XYZ and you'll be good to go. And there's no reason to believe that that's not true, because there's a lot of science behind what happens when you eat a certain way or move a certain way. And so it's really, really hard to not get caught up in. But here's the thing about control. We seek, as human beings, autonomy. And by autonomy, I mean choice. We not only do we like autonomy, it is a need. Like, as much as air, water, food, autonomy is a need. We need to feel like we have choice in our life. And so what happens is we go on a diet, we reel ourselves in, we get control of things, and then we feel like, okay, I got control of things, I'm good. Except that you lose your autonomy when you're in this place of control with dieting. And so what happens inevitably is you're going to be like a teenager, like a rebellious teenager, or like a toddler, where you're like, hey, don't tell me what to do. And there's going to be this part of you that's at odds, because part of you saying, I want to lose weight, and therefore I'm going to follow this plan, and this plan works. Here's all these testimonials of people, before and after pictures of people where following this plan loses weight. It works. And then there's another side of you that's like, I don't want to do that. No, I just want to eat donuts. I don't want to. It's worth it. Tonight, I'm just going to eat. It's okay. Tonight, I'm just going to cheat. It's okay. Today, I won't follow it. It's okay. And pretty soon, you're back into that out of control place. And then after a while, you get totally uncomfortable. You run back to the control place and you reel yourself back in. You go back on a plan, back in control. Now, that's never going to work, because you're never going to get to where you want to go unless you have autonomy. Now, how do you get to a place of choice with dieting? How do you get to a place where you choose congruently, authentically, not to eat whatever it is the diet's asking you to do? How do you get to a place where you have autonomy about your movement, your exercise? So there's a couple ways you can do that. But first, we have to talk about the dirty little secret behind dieting. By the way, if you like what you're hearing here and you want me to hear more about what's going on in your specific world, go to speakwithmichelle.com, fill out a quick application, grab a time on my calendar, and we'll chat about your specific experience of weight and food and figure out what the heck's going on so we can get that fixed. Okay, so that dirty little secret, what it is all dieting is manipulation. Now, I don't know if you've ever been manipulated or if you've ever manipulated, but it doesn't feel good. And so when someone is trying to manipulate you, it doesn't feel good. You can feel this kind of angst and like, I want to push back. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be manipulated. But then there's a side of you that might say, this is good for me, because left to my own devices, I won't do XYZ. So they're doing a service for me by manipulating me, by controlling me. And it's a good thing, because I can't control myself. So I like the manipulation. It's fine. And that will work potentially for a period of time. But nobody likes to be manipulated. And all dieting does is manipulate your body for a period of time. Hence the reason why the weight always comes back, because with manipulation, there's a threshold before you're like, that's enough. Stop manipulating me. I want to do my own thing. Once again, back to autonomy. So the dirty little secret behind dieting is that all it is manipulation. And you can only manipulate for so long before there is pushback. And when there's pushback, It's not going to be a little pushback. It's going to be a lot of pushback. And this is when you think of this pendulum, right? So we have tight control, regimented, restriction, dieting, whatever you're doing over here to lose weight. And then the pendulum, once that gets, whatever reason you stop doing it, it swings back this way. And then it's like out of control, binging, 17 donuts, who knows what's happening over here. And then when this gets too uncomfortable, you're like, that is it. I got to get back in control. Swing back this way. And you are getting motion sickness at this point because you're swinging back and forth. And for some of you, you've been swinging back and forth for like 30 years. And what the problem is that all anybody ever wants is balance. They want to get to the middle. They want to get to a place where they say, I don't have to be in super tight regimented control, but if I'm not in super tight regimented control, I'm also not completely out of control. How do I get to this place where I just see a donut and say, no thanks, or yeah, I'd like more? It's that balance that we want. But the problem is we're never going to get to balance if you're in either manipulation or if you're in this tight control, or it's obviously not going to happen if you're completely out of control either. I get that. Once again, if you like what you're hearing, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but real quick, if you want me to hear more about your specific situation, just go to speakwithmichelle.com and I'll learn more about what's going on with you so that we can talk more about this in your specific situation. So here's the thing. So we have this manipulation, we have this control over here, we have out of control over here, and all we want is balance. So the way that we get to this balance is by first admitting that manipulation cannot be my plan. Like, the thing is when we get really out of control, when we look in the mirror, we put on the clothes, we see a picture and we don't like it, we don't really think, we just act. We're like, that's it. I gotta stop eating carbs. I've gotta take out the sugar. I gotta drag out the treadmill. It's like act immediately. And we don't stop to think like, hey, but if I do that, like if I do the diet, if I do the treadmill, if I do those things, is it going to be just manipulation and therefore short term? Is it that I'm so uncomfortable, I've got to get this weight off and I don't care how, it just has to happen so fast so that I can't look at this anymore and I don't care what happens. I don't care if it's starvation. I don't care if it's going to suck for a while. I don't care if it makes my body unhappy. Like, I just have to get this weight off fast. I got to get like 10, 20 pounds off right away and then I can just kind of take a step back and think. And that's how most people do it. But the manipulation, the control, the regiment makes this pendulum swing so far the other way that you just keep going back and forth from one extreme to the other. So what we have to do instead is take a pause and say, hold on a second. It would be like if you had horrible headaches every single day, and every day you woke up and you just took an Advil. And it's like, okay, that might work for a while. And then after some time, you need 2 Advils. And then after some time, you need 3 Advils. And then you start thinking like, well, what are the side effects of me taking this many Advils? Because I can't deal with these headaches and I don't have time to deal with the root cause of the headaches. I just got to get the headache gone. And so after we keep taking these pills, eventually we build tolerance, we start to have side effects. And at some point you have to wake up and say, why do I keep getting headaches every single day? This is crazy. Is it not, is it something to do with, chiropractic? Is it something totally unrelated to that? And you have to start problem solving. And that's really what we have to see happen here with your weight. You got to pause, take a step back and say, if I were not to use manipulation and control, if I were to take a step back and ask myself, what is really going on with this? Because this is not just I've been dealing with this for a couple months. This is a long time coming. So where did all this start? And what are the side effects of me doing these diets over and over and over again? And is it potentially the reason why I'm having so much dysfunction with food? And if it is, what do I do instead? What else could be at fault here? If I were to take away the food, take away the exercise, and look at this from a different perspective, what else could potentially be causing this problem? So it could be a lot of things. Real quick, go to speakwithmichelle.com if you want me to hear more about your specific situation. I'd love to hear more about your specific story so we can get to know what's going on with you. And that's just speakwithmichelle.com. It's totally free. So when you start problem solving from this place of like, well, what if it's not the food? Or what if the food is the response or reaction to something else? Or what if the weight is not an issue with food or exercise? It's a reaction or response to something else, potentially something that happened a long time ago, potentially a reaction or response to childhood trauma, or to just a straight up coping mechanism from when you were younger. Like maybe something happened and you didn't know what to do, and so you grabbed food and it's become this thing. Like, and that's just 2 examples. There's tons. So if you don't fall in those 2 molds, don't worry. But we've got to start problem solving differently. But where we start is by saying that dieting is truly manipulation, and manipulation is short term. And if you're willing to take a pause before just jumping in and saying, I got to get the weight off, I got to get it off now, I don't care the cost, I don't care the side effects, I don't care if it doesn't last forever, I've got to do it now. If you can take a pause and say, okay, let's just take a breath and figure out exactly what's going on here. And if you do that, you might be surprised as where you're guided to take your next step, because it might have nothing to do with food or exercise. If you take a step back and say, what's really going on? You might find out, man, I'm just not really happy or fulfilled with my career, with my relationship, or I'm just going through the motions. I'm not really present. I'm not really living. And maybe that is a better place to put your attention than how many carbs you ate today. And I don't know. That's why it's important to look at your specific situation. But I've been doing this for over 10 years, and never in my life have I found that someone's real problem is they just eat too many carbs. It's always a response to something else. So if you're willing to take a step back and say, okay, I don't want to manipulate this. I don't want to control this because I don't want to control this forever. And if you get to your goal, if you get to your weight loss goal through control manipulation, guess what you're going to be doing the rest of your life? Control and manipulation. And if you're okay with that, that's cool. You know, that's not for me to decide for you. But if you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore, I want it to be done, I don't want to control and manipulate my food, my weight, my exercise for the rest of my life, then we got to look at this differently. So we're going to keep talking about things like this over the course of the next month, coming to you live each day. Once again, if you want me to know more about, well, what happened with me? Like, what is going on with my weight? Where did this really come from? Because when I try to problem solve, I don't really see a clear direction of where this started. Then just go to speakwithmichelle.com. It's totally free. Just a quick application. You'll get my calendar, and we'll chat about what's going on with you so we can figure this out. But like I said, today's lesson is dieting has a dirty little secret. That dirty little secret is it's just manipulation at best. Sometimes it doesn't even work. It didn't for me. But when I would try to manipulate my weight, I immediately, because I have to have more autonomy, I feel like, than anyone on the planet. Like, if you for a minute tell me I don't have choice, I'm going to push back. So what happened with dieting is the minute I started dieting, I was like, no, thank you. But then I was like, but I want to lose weight. So I was always battling myself. But a lot of people can manipulate their weight with food and exercise, and it works for a period of time. So it's hard to give that up because it's like, well, it worked. I got thinner and I just stopped working the program. That's the problem. I have to just not stop working the program. But remember, control manipulation, temporary at best. So what else can we do? And that's what we got to figure out. So more videos coming to you, more lives coming to you throughout the month. We will figure this out. Don't you worry. So just stick with me. And like I said, if you want more, it's speakwithmichelle.com. It's a quick application. Grab a spot on my calendar and we'll chat about what's going on with you. That's it for today. Thanks, guys.